D.C. that says something prophetic about the future of Western civilization. This is not it. This dispute is silly. Every single member of this body knows how important the Department of Homeland Security is. Thank you, Mr. President. With me today is Mr. John Lowry, one of my colleagues from my office. As you know, Mr. President, Democrats and Republicans in the United States Congress have a dispute over funding for the Department of Homeland Security. And it's such a serious dispute that department is shut down. Now, every now and then, Mr. President, there is a dispute in Washington, D.C. that says something prophetic about the future of Western civilization. This is not it. This dispute is silly. Every single member of this body knows how important the Department of Homeland Security is. Most people recently think of Homeland Security as border security and ICE, interior security of our immigration laws. But Homeland Security is responsible for so much more. FEMA is part of Homeland Security. It's shut down. The Coast Guard is part of our Department of Homeland Security. It's shut down. The CISA, dealing with cybersecurity, is part of the Department of Homeland Security. It's shut down. The TSA is part of Homeland Security. They're working without pay. And not all of our colleagues in the TSA are working. This is the result. And it's going to get worse. Now, for reasons that I don't, well, let me put this a different way. Some would argue, and the party line is, that we're making progress in terms of resolving this dispute. That's not true. I mean, I know that's the party line and conventional wisdom, and every now and then you'll see a reporter report that. But it's not true. For reasons I don't completely understand, for a while my Democratic friends said we're only going to negotiate with the White House. And they have been negotiating with the White House for some time, but they're nowhere near agreement. Recently, some of my Democratic colleagues have met with two of my Republican colleagues and Mr. Tom Homan. Happened yesterday, to see if we could make progress. Again, the conventional wisdom, the party line that we're supposed to tell everybody is that we're making progress. But I've spoken directly with the people who were at that meeting yesterday, here among just senators and Mr. Homan. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would describe it as they described it to me, about a -17. We made no progress. And I regret that, but I understand it. Let me see if I can state. I don't say this disrespectfully.
The Department of Homeland Security is shut down, and according to Senator Kennedy, it's not because of complexity, it's because of politics. From TSA agents working without pay to a complete standoff over ICE funding, this isn't gridlock, it's a breakdown. Welcome back to Capitol Deep Dive. This Senate floor speech pulls back the curtain on a growing crisis, the shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security. According to Senator John Kennedy, this isn't a complicated policy dispute. It's something far simpler and far more frustrating.
What I'm about to say, I want people to know I'm serene in saying this, and I don't mean to offend anyone. But we all know what's going on. Our Democratic friends will agree to open up TSA, thank you, to open up FEMA, to open up the Coast Guard, to open up the CISA, thank you, thank you, thank you. But they haven't agreed, despite concessions on our side, to open up ICE. And they're not going to. It is not going to happen in your or my natural lifetime. And if you've been following this debate and you understand the politics, you don't need to be able to explain the theory of special relativity to know what's going on. It's not complicated. Parties have wings, factions within their party. I'm a Republican, we have factions. Democrats also have factions. And a specific faction of the Democratic Party right now is in control. That's just a fact. You could call it the progressive wing. Some call it that. The more cynical call it the loon wing of the Democratic Party. I, on occasion, have referred to it as the Karen wing of the Democratic Party. The Karen wing wants to defund ICE, and they will accept nothing less. Now, this is the same wing of their party that also wanted to defund the police. How'd that work out for us? This is the same wing of their party that has a very novel way to reduce the crime rate in America. Just don't prosecute anyone. Then our crime rate goes to zero. Now, I don't mean to paint with too broad a brush, Mr. President. Not all of my Democratic friends agree with the Karen wing of their party. They don't. Just not all Republicans are part of the factions in my party. But it is a fact that the Karen wing of the Democratic Party is in ascendancy, and it is firmly in control. And any Democrat, we all know this, that agrees to any kind of compromise with respect to ICE is going to be punished to the rest of their natural lives. They can't do it, and they're not going to. Now, we can keep having meetings and discussing it. We've been doing it for weeks. Most of these meetings could easily be accomplished with an email. And I've been part of the discussions in our conference. I'm convinced that listening to the same thing over and over and over again is lowering my IQ. When we know that nothing is going to resolve this, because my Democratic friends politically can't agree to a compromise about ICE. So here's what I think we ought to do. I think that we should accept the Democrats offer to open up TSA and to open up FEMA and to open up Coast Guard and to open up and fund CISA. And let's get that done. Let's shorten these lines. And then the day after we do that, Republicans need to file a reconciliation bill the same way we passed the One Big Beautiful bill. And on our own, we need to come up with a budget for ICE. It's the only way to solve this problem. Now, as you know this, Mr. President, under the Budget Control Act, we can pass legislation, there are parameters on us, that only requires 51 votes. That's how we passed the One Big Beautiful bill.
Waiting for compromise may not be an option anymore. This is Capital Deep Dive.